welcome to another Wannabe Entrepreneur, the podcast about what it's really like to bootstrap a company. My name is Tiago, and today I am under the blankets once again. If you're an old listener, you know what I mean. Back in the days when I was recording with my phone, I would basically find this strategy of putting myself under a blanket to reduce the echo, and actually worked. Today I'm not in my studio, I am in this kind of hybrid vacation mode where I work and then go to the beach, and I don't have my proper mic, so I'm trying that strategy once again. Today I don't have the normal freestyle episodes, I have another interview, because as you know, I have been an indie hacker for 2 years, but only in the past around 6 months I started to actually make some money with my new startup Pod Squeezed. So now my challenges, my indie challenges are a bit different. At first I was struggling to make ends meet, but now I have a lot of questions about how to run an indie company, when to hire, what should be my goals, and how can I grow it more. So I decided to start these new seasons of interviews where I'll try to bring a lot of makers that have made it and are actually making a lot of bucks, big bucks with MRR, and make these kind of questions to them. So today I have with me Tony Dinh, the great indie hacker. For me, is one of the best. I love his newsletter. I highly recommend for you to subscribe if you haven't already. I'm learning a lot with him, and he has been in the podcast before. So if you didn't, make sure to listen to the chats I had with him, because I have learned a lot, and I'm sure you will too. Today, with Tony, we will basically speak about how to run an indie company. He will give great insights about what are his goals and how he goes about hiring his freelancing team. It's really interesting. I've learned a lot. So without any further ado, let's start this conversation.
Man, it's been a while. I guess.
Yep.
I don't know when was. I remember the last time we talked was about the marketing loop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was really, I think it was a really insightful episode. Man, I've been learning so much from your newsletters. They're so cool.
Glad you like it. And I heard that you are now living your indie dream already. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much, man. It took some time to finally find something that actually worked, but yeah,
At least you can do it before you go back to your job. So it's a success. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it was a success. I was really at my limit, I would say. I picked up one freelancing gig, but I tried to like pick up a gig that allowed me to still focus most of my time on my indie projects, which I think it was really good for me, because it allowed me to have more, ease of mind, peace of mind. I could relax. I was less anxious, and I regained a little bit of trust in my skills. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Keeping it from rusty, right?
Yeah.
And also, I kind of knew that you will somehow create a business about podcast or something related to podcast. Yeah. The last time we talked, I kind of tell you that you have some advantage about how you know the podcast business is running and what is in the behind the scenes, right? So I'm glad that my prediction is correct. And I check out the business is like AI generated a summary, podcast summary, and then generate newsletter and everything after the podcast, right? Are you also like using your own product for this podcast?
Yeah,
awesome.
No, it's incredible, So I found a co-founder, and we're working together. Like, he's also here from Portugal, and we've been in touch for years, and he's been also an entrepreneur with a lot of also projects that didn't go far. And it's such a different thing when you have a product that actually has product market fit. It's crazy, Suddenly we're just sharing and people lining up to, even though like the product was having some bugs and was not working, people were so patient. They're like, hey, okay, let's fix it. And they were sharing their screen and print screens and videos and everything. I was like, wow, okay, that's definitely something. Then
exactly.
Growing.
Wow.
So
Oh, so cool. Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
if you solve the I often share that if you solve the right problem, it doesn't matter how ugly your product are, even though
yeah,
it only have one feature, even as long as it's valuable for the customer, they will go through all the trouble to use the product and pay for it. So
yeah,
I think you
yeah.
got it. Yeah.
To be honest, I used to have more the opinion that design didn't matter, but now, so my co-founder is a designer,
Mm,
and I do see that there is a difference, especially
mm,
because we have a lot of competition. There's a lot of products. Basically, every week there's a different product doing basically the same, and a
mm,
lot of people love our UI. A lot of people love our brand, our design. So I do think that design gives a little bit of credibility to a
mm,
product, even
for
though
sure.
obviously it's not the most important thing. Uh, I'm kind of sure that it also helps to grow and to get that credibility.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Yeah, I didn't know your godfather is the designer. So he or she is like responsible for the everything design, and then you like
Yeah.
coding, technical, and marketing. Who's doing the marketing and getting customers?
So basically, there's two things where we clearly split responsibility. So developing the codes and the backend and the functionality is me. Designing, it's him. But then we had
Mm,
a very there's then we have a lot of, in that sense, we have a lot of complementary skills. But then we are both passionate about like marketing. So I know more about the marketing side of like launching on Product Hunt, and like I have my Twitter and I understand that part. And he understands a lot of like branding. He created already a few brands, so he knows how to create a brand and how to do like this kind of Instagram, social media. So he does that kind of part. At the same time, he's also very analytical,
mm-hmm.
and is like, okay, what is working? Cold emailing, it's working. Let's just double down on that. And he
Mm,
really also likes to automate things. So even though he has more from, I guess, the art, design part of things, he's also very analytical. He has also this kind of mindset of like developer mindset of, okay, I'm not going to go and manually find 1,000 emails. I will find a way, like a database or something, that can get me that for in a few minutes instead of like a few days. So
I
I think
see.
that's it's,
Cool.
yeah,
I guess it's a pretty good fit for
yeah,
co-founders. Yeah.
man. Having a co-founder is amazing. Sharing the journey makes it also much easier, I
Mm.
reckon. You have a team now, but you don't have any co-founders, right?
Yeah, I mostly work with freelancers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And and one full-time employee and no co-founder. Still, I still don't trust myself to work with a co-founder yet. I'm
Why?
I I want to I want to do things my way, and sometimes if you have a co-founder, you kind of have to discuss and collaborate, and that
Yeah.
take a lot of time to
Yeah.
communicate. So I tried once in the past with a few projects, not like indie hacker project, like just fun project and everything. Did not end well. So right now, I guess I can just do it alone.
You need to find the right person, like most of
Yeah,
the
exactly.
times.
I think so. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm also like you, like there's a lot of things that I'm very stubborn, and I don't like to compromise. So
Mm.
he is also patient, and he's like, okay, okay, Tiago, whatever, let's do it that way. uh and then I also learn how to trust him in things that I know that he's better, and I'm like, okay, let's do it your way. So there's a lot of compromise. There's also a lot of benefits for sure after.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a good thing to have that I myself have a problem that I cannot utilize it as much as
Yeah,
you and other people. So
yeah,
definitely something I should work on. Yeah, but at least I have someone to help me with other stuff now, not like completely alone.
yeah.
So yeah, free up a lot of free time for me. So pretty good.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about today, because I so we've both been in the first part of being an indie hacker, right? And the first part, at least for me, I don't know if you agree, is a typical roller coaster. You think you're the best, and then you are the worst, and it will never work. You don't see a light in the end of the tunnel, and it's terrible. It's exciting, but also terrible and terrifying at the same time. And most people are not able to basically break through that first part, right? A lot of people end up giving up, or well, they just lose interest because it's so hard. But I think now we have kind of crossed you much more than I did, but we have kind of crossed this barrier where okay, now we can live from our projects. Now we are making money, and it's a completely different reality, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it's true in some way, but also that once you pass a certain levels, you start to unlock new ones, and it's the doubt never goes away. And
Yeah.
also there's always something for you to continue to look up to and to achieve. So I guess in one way it's true that we kind of, but at least we not struggling to make life end anymore. We don't have to
Yeah.
like stressfully looking for a job and a backup plan. But looking up from here, still a lot of things we I personally try to do myself, and see if I can unlock the next level of the solopreneur
Yeah.
career path.
Because that's exactly what I want to discuss. So in the first phase, my goal was to make ends meet, to get an MRR, and then once I got that, I wanted a little bit more. I wanted like a proper paycheck, and then once I got that, I started thinking, okay, what do I want now? And a VC backed company, what they normally want is just to grow their revenue. They're always growing. And
higher
they raise
valuation.
money. Yeah, they hire more people, and what it seems that they are never actually profitable. Like a lot of companies, they just get a huge revenue, but they are not really profitable because they just get all this money and then spend it, and then they're always kind of running against their the profit. But for us, it's different. Like I don't know, like what are your profitability margins? They're quite high, right?
Yeah, pretty high. I would say somewhere around 80 to 90%. Now that I have employees, I have to, a huge chunk of my revenue will be paying the freelancer salary. But previously it's like more than 90%, and now I guess it's still be around 80 to 90%. So it's pretty high. Yeah.
So it's quite high. What are your goals? Like that's what I'm trying to figure out now. Like what next? Like what to aim? What do you want to achieve as indie hacker now?
For me, I don't have a very long term plan like ahead for me to work on, but I do know what I want to achieve in the short term and medium term. So I still haven't reached the level of some people out there yet. Peter levels, Danny, and many other like legendary indie hackers out there. So that is definitely something that I want to achieve. But
in terms of what, money?
In terms of money, the successful of the product, and the as of the fulfillment of working every day, I have that, so I have no problem with that. But still, I got revenue now. It's not a lot, but still I can live basically everywhere now. I can afford a lifestyle, a little bit like luxury lifestyle, but still it's not that much that you can just like, so for example, buy any cars you want or buy any house you want,
Right.
And you, not at the level where I can become a resident at some country so that I can have a visa to travel anywhere in the world. There's always some level above that I have not reached yet. So definitely I want to reach that, but however I want to do it in a way that it doesn't stress me out along the way.
Right.
Yeah. So usually these days, like I set the baseline of my daily day, and my life is like doing something that not stress you out, and do something that fulfill, have some happiness in what you do. So I just free flowing. I usually don't take any like anything like a deadline to me, and usually I don't have any schedule meeting like this one. Speaking with you, it's pretty a rare one in my calendar. So I guess that I prioritize more on the lifestyle and having more free time, but still not like completely not working, but still work, but not a lot. Trying to go to the next level without stress. So yeah, that's what I do.
Would you rather having enough money to having this fuck you money, so like you just spend it whatever you want, but losing that a little bit of that freedom and that independence. So let's say you have a few meetings, a few schedules, or having the MRR that you have now, but keeping the same lifestyle. If you could pick, like, what is the priority?
I would say I priority lifestyle more, but it really depends on the nuance here, right? Because you're talking about a fuck your money. I don't know what kind of fuck your money is. How many levels of that? So depend on what are the small details. I get I could sacrifice something for a small amount of time, and then come back to prioritize lifestyle more. But as of now, I don't think I will sacrifice anything of my current lifestyle for like big chunk of money or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I feel the same. I feel that sometimes I think, okay, if we raised money, I think it would be helpful to grow faster.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's so nice to just be able to follow up as well, like what makes me happy, like just as an example, I've been now trying out like a new kind of spin-off of Pod Squeeze, like a little product that is probably not the most relevant thing to grow. It's like a bet. It might be, but it also might be a huge bet, and it's just like it goes to the garbage. I feel that if I was backed by a VC, the VC would be like, hey, why are you spending money or time on that?
Exactly.
But because I'm my own boss, I'm like, yeah, I just want to do it, so I don't care. Like, and I think that also gives an advantage to indie companies, because we get to explore and to innovate, which I think it's really hard for big companies to innovate, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Do everything you want, and nobody tell you what to do.
Yeah.
So by the way, your product is right now is way above like Rayman profit, right? Last time I heard it's 10K MRR or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of lifestyle are you living right now? Like how many hours per day you are working, and do you achieve your dream now? Do you move to somewhere else, or is there any change in your lifestyle in terms of working, playing?
It's still very new, so I don't now. So it's been like 2 years of like spending and burning my savings. So
Right.
no, I don't have the money now to just spend. And like, of course, we want to buy a house or something like this. I cannot do it right away.
Yeah, for sure.
And to be honest, I'm not even making as much money as a lot of my developer friends. Like a lot of my developer friends, because it's two of us, right? So it's 10K, but we split by two, and there's taxes and everything. So in terms of money itself, even though it seems crazy, like 10K, it's crazy, and I would never imagine. Then you look at what like my friend is making at whatever company, and be like, what the fuck? How can they pay you so much? It's crazy. But definitely much more chilled, and I feel now that I deserve things. No, when I go on a holiday or a free time, before I was like, I always felt guilty. It's like, no, I should be making money, I don't deserve this. And now like I have much more confidence, and I can relax. I feel much more happy to speak about my projects with people and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and in terms
much
of work,
less stressful, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
In terms of working, is now it feels like a normal job, to be honest. Because so we have like some planning, obviously, but then we do plannings like every 2 weeks. We kind of sit down and say, okay, what do you want to do? Okay, let's align a few tasks. I like working with Trello. And then I just, okay, every day I go and, okay, this is my task. I work on this, coding, push. I have a meeting. I have this, I have that, done. So it really feels more like a normal job at some point,
Right. Wow, it's funny that you say that, because I thought like you have a more freedom, but at least as long as you like what you are doing, I guess it's absolutely freedom. So
yeah.
But yeah, I guess it's true. What you say just remind me of why I don't want a co-founder. At some point, it become like a job. For true. For example, I'm very unpredictable. Like for example, sometimes I just want to take a week off. I don't do anything. So if I work with how I currently doing with my freelancers, I just don't give them any task, and they are totally fine with that. They are chill. If I have a co-founder and I decided to do that, like randomly, I don't know if the other person can be okay with that, or maybe if I have a new idea and that's completely switch focus to a new idea, where I work alone or work with someone else, I don't know if they will be okay with that, because having a co-founder is like you both having to like carry the weight of the business, right? And if I somehow alone decide by myself that I no longer want to carry the weight, it will be.
I have to say, like, if I want to take a week off, I take a week off. Like, there's no problem with that. And same for him. So it's a lot about trust. I actually, if you think about it, it's even better, because if I want to take a week off, really take a week off, and like don't take my laptop, I can do it. Because if he's working, I know that someone is keeping an eye into things, So as long as
absolutely.
It's all about managing expectations. You start. You need to find someone that has the same kind of vibe, and they know. And to be honest, like if I want to start a new project, I most likely will also want to start it with him. Because like we have these complementary skills, and makes like working much more pleasure. So, like, just for you to understand, one thing we do is I do like the front end, like the functionality of things, but I really don't care too much about design. So like if the it's still very new, so I don't now. So it's been like 2 years of like spending and burning my savings. So no, I don't have the money now to just spend, and like of course we want to buy a house or something like this. I cannot do it right away. And to be honest,
definitely that is some like very very cool benefits of having a co-founder is to have someone to share the load with you. So that's definitely something I don't have.
But at the same time, there's also times where as you said, like you need to make some compromises. That will definitely work.
Sure. It's a thing you have to learn to work with it.
But tell me about getting your employees, because one thing that we've noticed as well from this transition is that at first we're always trying to save money. Like, I don't want to spend money at anything, I need all the money. But now you're thinking, okay, I'm making already 10K. It doesn't matter. I can spend like $200, $300 or $500 or $1,000, whatever, as long as it's an investment. Tell me about that process of like, when did you decide that it's okay to spend money to hire people?
It started as a freelancer contract, right? So I have no problem spending money on freelancer as well. Like a few $10, $20 per hour, or even higher, $50 per hour, or $100 per hour. It's totally fine if I have a very well defined task that I can give out, and then everything is isolated and they can deliver the task like to me in high quality. I have no problem with that. So I've been working with freelancers for quite a while, more than a year. So I guess that is a very very good way to spend your money. Given that you have,
why don't you just like do it yourself? Why
there's so many things and so many tasks, and sometimes the task is boring. I don't want to do it myself. Sometimes I just want to do something else that also in the product, but I want to do it more because I wanted to control how it looks my way, right? So some less important task I deliver, I give it to a freelancer, and sometimes there's just a lot of work. For example, my current product right now, Type in Mind, I have a few product lines that I offer for the customers, and there's a few type of customers, the user end users, the enterprise customers, and the business customers. So they all demand a lot of features. So it saved me a lot of time to give out the task for the freelancer to work on some specific thing, and it just free me up a lot of time.
Okay, instead of delivering that feature in a week, you deliver in a month, let's say. But at least you wouldn't have to spend the money, right? So how do you make this decision of, okay, I prefer doing this and delivering this week instead of a month, and for that I will pay someone?
You can do that if you feel like the task you want, those tasks you want to do. So from the list of that, I just tell you, right? There's a few tasks that are very boring. It's really boring. So
can you give an example? What is boring for you?
For example, recently I had to make the product multilingual.
Okay. Yeah.
So you have to support a lot of languages, and to do that, you have to like annotate where in the app you want to be translated. So it's kind of boring task,
super annoying. Yeah.
So it took a lot of time. I even now I still don't know if that worth all the troubles. But that is one of the example that there's few tasks that require like mundane works and boring tasks.
That's so cool.
And
so
a few things that
I'll hire.
Yeah, just one of the few reasons, right? So boring is one of those, and sometimes you want someone else to work on something in parallel with you, so you can deliver more in less time.
Tell me about the hiring process. Like, do you do any interview? Like, how do you know they are good?
I don't do any interview at all. I guess I have some unfair advantage over here. I have a friend from my old connections in a previous company who introduced me to my first freelancer, and I basically tell him, okay, I trust you because you are a friend of my friend. So I just give him access to all the source code. I tell him to go to blackmagic.so. So this is my app. You see this button right over here? I want it to be changed like this, and then it do this. Okay, I just tell him that, and then he just go to the website. He figure out what kind of app it is, and what screen it is, and where is this screen in the code base, and how are all things. He just basically figure out all by himself. So I trust that if a developer is good, like me, we developer can figure out things by our own. Just look at the code, man. The document is the code. I don't have any document on my project at all. It's like the most guilty thing you have when you work alone instead of for a company. But my document is the code. So whenever I hire someone, I just, okay, look at this. This is the app. This is the code. You change this button. You try, go figure it out. And basically that's how we started. And he did it. And I had to, give access to all the resources, and give some like basic 15 minutes introduction of everything. But then he figured out all by himself, and all the subsequent tasks, he all figured it out by himself. But I did intentionally give out tasks on the complexity level from low to high, because I'm a developer myself. I know what is simple, what is difficult, what involves like basic CSS change, and what involves like CSS, JavaScript, backend, API, database, everything. So I just give the level of complexity over time. And so after he completed a few tasks, I decided whether I should continue with him or not, right? So I'm pretty sure if he doesn't deliver, or he doesn't kind of understand what I'm doing as a product, I will have to like stop working with him. But luckily it did not happen. So we're still working until now.
No, it's smart. I mean, if you know someone that can recommend you, that's better. And then you gave them like little tests with small tasks, and you see if it works or not. Weren't you scared that but just giving access to someone that you don't fully know, like they could just run away from with your code or something? No,
that is a risk. But like I told you, I trust him because he's a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
And after we worked for a few months, we met in for dinner with the team, and basically that's all. We only met for like 1 or 2 times. So but because of I got introduced to him by a friend, so I kind of have some level of trust over there.
How does he manage the hours? Like, does he count the hours using some software, or it just tells you?
I don't care how he count the hours. So I just say him. I just tell him like every time you work on something, even though it's not coding, but it's somehow related to what you are doing with me, you just log the hours, and I will pay by the hours. So from time to time, I just go to his work log. We have a work log where he put all the hours, and then I just go here and check to see if anything, if everything makes sense, and if he's spending time on something that I don't want to, then we can adjust.
So he has to write what he's doing in that time as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So how many hours work on what product, and what kind of work you're doing, and how many hours, and by the end of the month he compiled that into an invoice, and then I just pay him.
And that was your first first hire or freelancing hire, right?
Yeah.
But now you have a team of how many people?
Also 3 people. So
Three
me,
people.
that freelancer, and then another full-time employee.
Okay, tell me about the full-time employee, because that's a different commitment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And the full-time employee, she started as a freelancer as well. So she started as a content marketing writer. I needed someone to write blog posts for Black Magic, and
Okay,
yeah,
Tony Dinh trying marketing. Wow.
yeah, yes,
You're always on now. I don't do marketing, only Twitter, but they're trying some SEO.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
I need to have a way to do marketing
Yeah, yeah,
with not only my Twitter channel, right? Because it's kind of risky. So
yeah.
yeah, she
Definitely,
started as
definitely.
a marketing freelancer. She got introduced to me by the first freelancer as well. So I again don't have to spend a lot of time.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So again,
Cool.
network, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, we work with each other for a few months. At some point, I just asked her, hey, I have this task that I need someone else to help me with, but it's not like marketing work. It's not marketing content writing. Would you like
Yeah.
to do it? And she said, okay, I'll do it. So I add her to customer support. I had her to to partnership management, partnership manager. So she talked with my partners, and I asked
Okay.
her to help me with design a new page, help me with a product hunt launch, which we did. We never did. We had to cancel that plan. But anyway, I asked her to do a lot of stuff, and she
Okay.
didn't hesitate to do all those, even though she's her background is in marketing, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But I kind of feel like she have a lot of skills, variety of skills that helpful for the business in general, but not exactly one very strong focus skill. So that
She's
uh,
an entrepreneur.
yeah,
She has an
sort
entrepreneur
of.
mindset, right?
Short up, yeah.
Yeah.
I told both of my freelancers that I really encourage you to have a product of your own and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I share some ideas when we met for dinner at one time that
Yeah.
that she could took it to become a business.
Yeah.
And I guess at some point they will have their own business and they will leave me. That's totally
Yeah.
fine for me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
So
how do you manage like raises and like to keep them motivated? Is there something that you keep in mind? Okay, let's give a raise. Let's increase that. Let's.
I basically I don't spend a lot of time on that. I'm a very bad manager. I don't do a lot of management stuff. I
Okay.
don't do one-on-one. I don't do like I just pay them very well. So she told me that I pay her twice the market salary that she would have in a normal job, like more than twice. So I guess
And why? Why do you do that? Why do you pay?
because I guess I make some money over here, so I can share that with someone who will be a good fit for what I'm doing and willing to do what I need help with. So she was okay with that. So I guess it's just the right compensation. And also working for me, not a company, they don't have a lot of benefit other than just the money, right? They
Yeah.
don't have a nice office. They don't have friends. They don't have
Yeah.
salary, insurance and stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I guess it just compensates for all the missing stuff
Yeah.
and just pay her well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in your newsletter, you shared the way you work, which is very interesting. You said no meetings, no
Yeah.
deadlines, but that's how can you have no deadlines? Because you just said, okay, I want to release something in a week because this customer wants whatever. You just
Yeah.
what is the flow? They have like a Trello board. People pick tasks. Like, do you have? How do you organize yourselves?
I guess I don't have any deadlines. Um, I don't let any customer to give me deadline. So first of all, I don't have any deadline. So because of that, my employees they don't have deadlines. So whenever I
Okay.
give out a task, I just okay, I wanted to work on this nest. So that's what they
Okay.
do. So until they work that done, we can sometimes I give our field 2 or 3 tasks ahead to see if you're done with this, move on to this.
So
And
you
they
are the one allocating tasks to each employee. Is
yeah
it?
yeah
Okay.
yeah
Asynchronously. So you have like
yeah.
Slack or some tool, and how do you communicate with each other? It's like Slack?
We use Telegram. We don't
Telegram.
hate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Telegram, just chat it with each other, have a group, and like, hey, and how do you like define tasks? Like, do you go on like Trello, write everything down, or you just like text them like, I want this button blue, whatever?
Yeah, usually it started like that. I want this button blue bigger. That is in the Telegram, and at some point it get a little bit out of hand when, especially now that we had 3 people. So now I
Okay.
use Linear, which I manage the task. But I would say mostly we use it to keep track of the backlog so that we don't forget important stuff. So for day-to-day work, we just message on Telegram. For example, most of the time I just think of something. I send a voice message or sometimes a text message, sometimes voice message to the channel saying I want this. Then they noted that, and at some point they will get to it. But in case they forget, sometime later I remember about it again, and oh wait, we needed this, but we didn't do it the last time. Now we should do this time. And if that still doesn't happen, then we move it to Linear, where we manage our backlog of everything and also the customer feedback, so that we always have something to work on. Yeah.
And you never feel frustration, like you never felt like, hey man, this thing are not having deadlines. I expected them to do it faster, but they're not committing enough. Do you ever like feel this kind of frustrations in managing these relationships?
Never. I never feel like that.
Never.
So yeah, you mentioned an example that, for example, if I had to have this feature this week, how do I do that? I never want anything this week.
Okay.
I don't ever think a product like this week we have to deliver this feature, that feature. This month we have to achieve this goal. I never have anything like that. I just go with the flow.
But at the same time, you want to beat Peter levels. At the same time, you want to like be the top indie
what
hacker.
A paradox.
Exactly. How do you manage like? Because that's exactly what I feel like.
How do you know if Peter level have deadlines and stuff? You know. So
no, but I mean, he's the one to beat, right? Like, so even if he doesn't have deadlines, you are the one, and you definitely see that he's working he works super hard as well. So like, how do you manage? Like, I would love to understand this. Like, at the same point, you have this, you want to become better, make more money, become one of the top indie hackers out there, go on My First Million podcast, whatever. But at the same time, you really don't care about like deadlines, and you are able to relax and go with the flow. Like, how do you rationalize this?
Now that you mention it, I guess so I wanted to achieve those goals without sacrificing the freedom, right?
Yeah.
So if you have deadline, you lose the freedom.
Yeah.
That's just it. So because I want my freedom for myself, so I don't want to take the freedom away from my employees. So they will, if they want to live the same lifestyle as me, they can do that too.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm not trying hard enough. If you are really counting the goals to like be on My First Million and achieve the fuck you money, I'm not really trying hard enough, because I'm not willing to sacrifice my freedom. And that's the way I want it to go. Not like trying hard for a few years and achieve all that money in one go. I guess many people already doing that with VC money and stuff. So at the point you take the VC money, you kind of set a deadline for yourself to at some point you have to make the company big. And many people already do that. If I do that, I will not be like something like, it's not like it's not how I wanted to live my life, I guess. Yeah.
No, I mean, that's it. That's, I think, the indie lifestyle, you know. It's freedom is the most important thing, I think. For when I asked this on Twitter as well, most people say like, why do you want to become an indie hacker? And they say like, freedom.
Yeah.
You know, I want to live life my way. And I don't want to, you know, clients or stakeholders or society, whatever, setting my deadlines and my path. It's my path. It doesn't mean that you are not still ambitious, because you are. It's just not ambition is not the main goal. Like, being the best is not the main goal. Is being the best while keeping that freedom, right?
Yeah.
And that's lovely. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, this recently though, that way of life is really been on a test, because my product recently have a lot of enterprise customers contacting me, And they
Interesting.
demand a lot of
Type in
stuff.
mind, right?
Yeah, type in mind.
Wow.
And they demand a lot of stuff. And working with business customers and enterprises, they demand a lot of stuff, but they also have a lot of money. So I'm really being on a test to see if I'm willing to take a deadline for this small thing, take a deadline of this thing to achieve that money, to achieve the contract and get the money. And let's see how it play out. I cannot predict the future.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Because then, at least for me, I think, okay, I have so many competitors, and some competitors are actually big players, big players that were in the podcasting world for a long time, and now they are like, hey, this is also cool. Let's integrate that. And then I think, at the same time, I want to keep my freedom, but this is huge. Like, how can I compete with them if I'm not producing as much as them? So it's the same. Like, it's kind of similar to what you're thinking. Okay, I can lose this huge client because probably there's also a lot of typing mind clones as well. So I can lose this huge client now because someone else doesn't care about their freedom. They just care about their goal of being super millionaires, whatever.
Competitive, right?
Yeah. So it's interesting. How do you manage this? Like, do you just, okay, I don't care. Let them get it. I will just start something new. It's
Yeah, I guess I really don't spend a lot of time thinking about that.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, the market is big enough for at least my product to be still somewhere out there.
Yeah.
And even if I took a small percentage of that marketplace, is still enough for me, right?
Yeah.
And if they completely remove me out of the market, then I will be in trouble. So at that point, I will have to think differently, either to focus, double down on the product, or have other ways of making money, or somehow think of another way. So at the moment, I think I still believe that firstly, AI overall is still in a wave, and still hype. There's still a lot of competitors out there. So I got a place. I have a slot in this market. And also because of this, right, I also still maintain a lot of other products, two other products, right? And still Blackmagic is 3. So in total, I have 4 independent income streams. So that somehow give me some safety, comfort to not doing things in a stressful way with deadline, and not worrying too much about competitors and stuff. I would not recommend this for everyone though. So no, definitely something that I wanted to do for myself, but not really recommend for everyone.
Yeah, Tony, I think that's it. That's the indie way. That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's the goal of these interviews now. I'm trying to get now people here that have achieved this second phase of indie hacking, like they're making money and trying to understand what is their goals and their ambitions. But I think you just summed it really well, like keeping the freedom. You don't in-debt yourself. Like if you have some money in the bank, you can just chill and have fun. And then I think that's the most important thing. So thanks so much for joining again the Wannabe Entrepreneur podcast. I'm always learning a lot from you and from your newsletter as well. So keep on writing that.
Sure thing. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
And this was my conversation with Tony Dinh. I hope you liked it and learned as much as I did, or even more. If you want me to continue this new season of interviews, make sure to support the podcast. You can do so by joining our community for indie makers. The link will be in the show notes. It costs $10 per month, and you get to hang out with a lot of makers, both starting indie makers or some more seasoned ones. And you can join our Slack and have a lot of fun. It sure works. If you're feeling a little bit lonely, this will help you in that. And yeah, that's basically it. Make sure to also share this with all of your friends, your indie maker friends. And let's try to double the number of downloads of this podcast and make it known, because we want to spread the indie word. This was another wannabe entrepreneur. See you next time.